If you're trying to get better and you have had a chronic illness for years, I'm going to tell you all the things that you have to be willing to do to be able to get better. Number one, you got to be willing to look at your behaviors and how they have a role in your symptoms. So you got to be willing to look at what you're eating. All right. Got to be willing to realize that meat may not be a good thing. Eggs, dairy, nuts, seeds, those things. You got to be realizing that there's a lot of things you got to be willing to do to get better. And other things you got to be maybe willing to move out of your house if there's a lot of mold in your house. You got to be willing to maybe get out of a bad relationship that's unhealthy, that's feeding into your whole illness. You got to be willing to look at these emotional triggers and actually do something about them, and remodel your perspective around these particular events and not be a victim to them. You got to be willing to get out of the victim role and start to realize that the blame is only, pushed inward, and it should really never be blame at all, because things are all happening for your benefit so that you learn and be able to become a better version of yourself. You got to be willing to also, realize that there's a higher power that's involved with all of this. And if you don't believe in that, then you're going to be stuck in a circle, often changing instant gratification or reason or justifications of this, that, whatever. You're going to be trying to escape your fears, and you're really not going to be insulated from fear if you don't believe in a higher power. You're going to be kind of stuck in a circle of fear or reason, and often reason is not the way out of a chronic illness. Reason is just your way back into the circle. You have to feel your way out of the chronic illness. You can't just think your way out of it. It doesn't work that way, right? So you got to be willing to do a lot of things to get better. You also got to be willing to believe that some people like myself would have better information to trust than somebody with the white coat on, right? Got to be willing to see through the illusions that have been taught to you. Got to be willing to look outside the box for answers. Got to be willing to look for the spirit within everybody and the real correct information in every situation. And the reality is, it's always something that you're consuming, inhaling, or thinking that's causing your illness. Yes, there is a point to have supplements, but your supplements always have to be plant-based. They always have to be mast cell modulators. These are key points I want to say, and I always want to stress in a lot of these videos. But the point is, you got to be willing to do things. You got to be willing to make changes if you want to get better. As Hippocrates said, before healing someone, first ask them, are they willing to do things? Are they willing to give up the things that made them sick? So before healing someone, you first ask them, are they willing to stop doing the things that made them sick? And if you're not willing to examine those things and actually make changes, then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to keep repeating the same behaviors, repeating the same thought patterns, repeating the same, cycle that leads you into the symptoms, because it's not the condition that the person has, it's the type of person that has the condition that is worth, examining most. Because when people have certain behaviors and thought cycles and consumption patterns and all that, it all feeds into the illness. It's not just something that's physical, it's a spiritual aspect, there's a behavioral aspect, all that, right? So I got plenty more videos for, discussions about things like this. Go to my website, endsickness.org. I got hundreds of articles, hundreds of videos on there teaching you how to heal yourself without the need of all these supplements and all that. Just focused on identifying the behaviors that are counterproductive in your diet, in your identifying the mycotoxins and the other pollutants in your environment, identifying the counterproductive thoughts and retraining your brain, and eliminating the fear and the perceived danger and the expectations and the comparison and all the things that make your brain overloaded in a state of frustration and unhappiness. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you go to my website and join my page. Take care.